you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Do you believe in life after addiction? You better believe it. Now, the host of Life After Addiction.
Welcome back to another episode of Life After Addiction. This sounds pretty gnarly, so we have some reverb in our ears, and man, my voice sounds amazing right now.
Well, that's one take.
He's here singing for 15 minutes before this started, just like belting out different songs.
Yeah, the only reason that he did the intro is because he didn't want me singing. So
100%.
Because I was going to go.
I know you were.
Awesome, man. Let's see. Last week we talked about if you're a family member, how do you know if someone's struggling with addiction? But at the beginning, we also played a little Rocky Top Tennessee because of our wager from the College World Series. It was a little late, but that was exciting. It made me happy, made me smile.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
Huh?
I'm sure it did.
Okay. We have a really special treat today, man. I want to talk about a little bit before we get started. S2L.net. We have all of our merch, have our T-shirts, which none of us are wearing, has our hoodies, our hats, our workbook, the seasoning, stuff like that. Go and check that out. Also, you could become a member of this channel. It really helps us out. It's not, you get some perks, you get discounts on the merch, you get your name shouted out, but mainly you're sewing into a ministry, this ministry of Life After Addiction. I think it's $2 a month or something like that. But you could become a member of the channel. We hope you do that. Really special episode today, man. I'm super excited.
We do. We have a guest today, so I'll let you introduce the guest.
We have multiple guests today. So we have, and you've heard us talk about them a little bit on the podcast. If you followed us for a while, you maybe remember them from last August. But today we have a very special band to us, an amazing Christian band, One Common. Welcome, guys.
Hey.
What's up?
We have Carlos and Michael. How you guys doing?
Good. Excited to be here.
Yeah?
I'm here every week, but
That's true.
It's a little different today.
That's true.
My first time.
That's true.
So.
He's never in front of the camera. He's always behind the camera on this show. But welcome, guys. So tell us a little bit about.
Yeah.
I know, but if someone didn't know who One Common was, tell us how the band got started. These are brothers.
We are brothers.
Tell us how the Lord led you to it, starting the band, and then where you're kind of at today.
Yeah. So first off, I'm going to dispel a myth.
Okay.
A lot of people think we're twins, which I don't think we even look like twins. So maybe we can have people comment if they think that.
Okay.
But you'd be surprised. We actually went somewhere in Nebraska and everyone raised their hand.
How
They thought
close?
we were
How close
twins.
though at age?
But we are brothers.
3 years apart.
Okay.
3 years apart.
Okay.
Not twins though. Not any kind. I don't even think we look like that. But I just have to say that because you'd be surprised how many people actually think that. So we are a Christian band. Pop worship brother duo, I guess is what people would categorize us as, and we categorize ourselves. But we started doing the band a while ago when we were, how old?
Young. Because we were
13, 14 for me.
Oh,
I
wow.
think you were maybe like 11, 12 when we started in the church. So our
Yeah.
dad's a pastor.
Okay.
And we started off, we would sing in the car. He would hear us singing, and he's like, hey, small church, 50 people on a good day. It was a church plant. And he said, we don't have anyone to lead worship. Do you guys want to step in? And we were like, we're just here singing Dynamite by Giant Cruz, or however you say his name. But we were like, yeah. And he's like, use whatever gifts you have to worship the Lord. And so that's how we started, I guess, taking singing more seriously, and then also singing more in the church. And we loved it. Sounded terrible. But it was really cool. God used it to really raise up other youth in the church, to create a youth-led main worship team for a small congregation of 50.
Oh, wow.
And I think it grew a passion in our hearts that we wound up doing local band competition with some of the other kids.
And where was this? Local?
Miami.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Miami, Florida.
Okay.
So little ways from where we are today. But why don't you tell them? We did a band competition, and we did, for the first time ever, a Sanctified secular song.
Yeah.
And I'll get into that a little more, but that's how that started.
We took Story of My Life by One Direction, and we changed the lyrics a little bit to glorify God. And through that, we won the band category out of all the bands.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, Miami is probably some real talent in Miami.
Yeah, and there wasn't a Christian competition. So
Yeah.
we were like, One Direction song, Christian. We were like, they're going to laugh at us.
Oh,
but we're just going in not to win, just to spread the gospel. But
That's
we also
awesome.
just fun with friends and siblings.
Yeah. So we did that. We won that as a band competition, and then fast forward, I guess, a couple years.
Yeah.
And then our dad felt kind of called to take a more missional role in the church. And so I don't know if I'm getting into this part too early.
No, yeah. He felt called for our family to take more of a missional role because we were very, serving in the church, like locally, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But I guess Lord was saying, hey, it's a different season. And so he's like, hey, we're going to basically sell everything, literally our house, possessions, and cram into an RV and go around the country with no booked dates or anything. It wasn't like, oh, this cool band going on tour or anything. We called it our mission tour.
Oh, wow.
But
we would knock on doors of churches and be like, hey, can we just play a song for you, like just minister to you real quick? And it's usually the pastor who's working there. It's like the middle of the week. And then sometimes they would say, hey, you want to play on Sunday or worship with us Sunday? And we're like, yeah.
If we were doing that today, it might be the equivalent of us seeing like a ministry here in the square, knocking on the door and just saying like, hey, God sent us from Miami to maybe just let you know that Jesus loves you. Mm-hmm. And we had a big heart for ministering to ministers, just as my dad was in the church. And, I feel like a lot of times that kind of gets forgotten about, where they're constantly pouring into pastors and ministers pouring into people, but people don't always pour into them. So we wanted to go encourage, ministers around the world, which kind of spewed into, we would go on a laundromats while we were washing our laundry. And
wow, dude, I did not know this.
I didn't either.
Yeah,
how old were you when you went on the road? When you said
I was 14.
I was 17 then.
Okay,
16,
so just
17.
a couple years into it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So,
cool.
And I'm 25 now.
And I'm 22.
22. So this was like 8 years ago, or
this is 2016.
8, 9, yeah.
We left in
8 years, yeah.
we left in June 2016, and then it ended probably about November.
Yeah.
So
we go into the laundromat, and my dad's like, hey guys, I just met this guy. He was involved in a hit and run. Like, you could tell, like, his leg, it looks like, road rash or stuff like that, like fresh. And he's like, let's encourage him. And we had, I think, the hearts, but we were learning maybe the courage.
Yeah.
And so we were like, oh, Bobby,
cool.
okay. And we go back to the RV and we like get the guitar.
We're in our PJs half the time because, we're just doing laundry. And
which I feel now we would do more freely. I mean, it's still, there's like some like, the enemy always tries to get in and like stop you from doing things like that. But that's, I think, how the Lord really grew in us this passion to lead worship and encourage people through music, which is a big part of what we do, which then grew into what we are now, One Common, which we should mention, we used to do that with our sisters. Yes. We have 3 other sisters.
Okay.
And so we kind of did it as a family. And as we grew up, the Lord was just calling us to some different places.
So
in
can
ministry.
they sing too? Can the sisters sing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our oldest sister sang, and then our younger sister played drums.
Okay, cool.
And then our youngest, we called her the manager. Because she was little. She was like...
She's the boss.
6 or 7, yeah. Or no, not at that time.
No, she was...
When we started...
she was young.
She was young. She
3
was
or 4.
5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or something like that.
And Michael and I have to say we shared a twin bed for 6 months. A fold-down
So you're almost like twins. You've been enjoying the hip for so long.
There you go.
That wasn't fun, though, because I like my personal space, and Carlos is a little more
Yeah.
touchy-feely.
So it's table too small for us right
Yeah,
now?
table's definitely too small.
Yeah, I'm the same
Almost
way.
sat on the end.
I'm the same way. He's always like, get in closer for the shot. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I guess. No, but I think it's cool. One thing that you said, and I think that's for anybody, man, like, there's almost through obedience, through boldness, through pushing through something uncomfortable, you see the Lord move. Like you say obviously it's easier for you now, but I think that's a good word for anybody, because we often say, one of our 4 pillars is action. And it's so uncomfortable. If you feel God's calling you to do something, it's like, you almost talk yourself out of it, because it's like, man, what are they going to say? What are they going to think? What are they going to do this and that? But it's through that obedience and pushing through with boldness that you see God work. And it's like, next time's a little easier. Next time's a little easier. And so, as your dad, as a good dad, I must say, we know their father as well. The whole family is just these 2, their dad is the ones that I know, and they're just righteous men of valor. I really, if the way they are that you see on Instagram, I'm going to encourage you to go and follow them, or you see on YouTube, or if you see them at a show, man, they're the same dudes on and off stage, just righteous. I mean, even just hearing that story, they sell everything. They're going and just wanting to spread the gospel. So amazing guys. I appreciate the story so far.
So, man, I didn't know anything. I didn't know any
either.
of that about you. And
Surprise.
we're in the studio with Carlos.
I've been holding it back for this day.
Yeah.
First reaction.
Awesome, though. So whenever y'all won, you said y'all won that competition, the Sanctified secular song of The Story of My Life by One Direction, classic song. I used to jam them back in the day, by the way. Classic song.
Totally.
Do you think that was like a moment in y'all's musical career? You could say that it's like, hey, man, we really may have something here. Like God may have really given us a unique gift and talent and heart for Christian music that may not be mainstream, but like, man, if this is something he's called us to do, did that give y'all some sort of confidence or allow you to see a vision?
Yeah. I mean, so we did not, like I said, we didn't expect to win at all.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of talented people. And on top of that, it's like, I feel like the world sees that stuff as cheesy and like Christians, you know. We're like, we're just gonna take something people know and insert the gospel into it. So it's like, when you're giving a baby medicine, you might put in a popsicle or something like that. It's kind of something like that. But when we won, it was a big encouragement to us and to just how the Lord maybe wanted to use it. And from winning that, I guess the talent competition basically booked us a couple shows throughout the year, maybe 5 to 10.
Oh, wow.
Where we got to go, and it wasn't like massive things, but it was like city events. It was a bunch of people, and we got to jump on the stage and do the same thing, and also sing some worship songs, which I don't think we ever expected that. And that was probably the first, maybe open door to doing ministry and music out in the world, not just like
outside
through
the church.
But it definitely sparked something in us because. If you want to tell them about Sanctified Secular Songs, which we still do to this day.
Come on.
And has been an integral part.
I got a story about that too.
Well, now we do it online, as you guys know,
Yeah.
where we take the song, we change it up a little to glorify God. We try to keep, some of the structures of the lyrics and whatnot. But we just have fun with it, nothing serious. Half of the video is just us blabbering and joking around. But, we've heard we've got some cool comments of people like, oh, now every time I hear this song, I think of your lyrics.
That's cool.
And it's like, oh, so somebody hears this song in like H&M or like a random store, and now they're thinking of Jesus and just something that's God glorifying.
Which was a big part of it. It's not about thinking of us. It's about thinking of Jesus and like common things of this world, which was just a cool part about it. Less of us, more of him.
So did that concept come from y'all, Sanctified Secular Songs, or is that like a thing that musicians know about? Or
I
People
think
have done it.
Yeah,
Like-
we're not original to it,
No.
but I think for
it's
us,
genius, though.
We made up the name.
we did. We came up with the name. So if you hear
Okay.
that, I mean that's
Triple
our-
S, SSS, Sanctified Secular Songs.
But
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have done that, and for us, it just goes back to like we wanted to have a fresh start on the band, and we were like, what did we do when we were younger? Just like childlike faith, and so we just kind of went back to that. We're not going to take ourselves seriously. Like we take ourselves seriously for the Lord,
Yeah.
But as far as like if we look like a fool for Jesus, that's okay. And then God just used it to reach a ton of people. Which is cool.
Yeah, and I have a story about that, about Sanctified Secular Song. Let me come back to it though, because I want you guys to finish the on the tour, stop the tour, and I mean now today you live in Nashville, Tennessee, but what before that you went from Miami to where, and then to Nashville?
Yeah.
Went to Miami. Well, we went from Miami. But after that, we moved to North Carolina for a couple years.
Okay.
Because our aunt had breast cancer, and by the grace of God, now she's healed.
Oh,
Wow.
praise God.
We just wanted to be with her, support her. Then we were there for a couple years.
I met my wife there. So
Okay,
did.
praise God.
little
Sovereign.
pit stop in
Yeah.
the journey.
There you go.
And then we moved out to Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah, we felt like our time was up there, and so we packed stuff up and came here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now they're in Nashville, the country music capital of the world. Man, I've lived here for over a decade now, and I've introduced you, Lowe's, to a couple of my friends in the industry. And I don't know personally, but I know from their story and hearing from them that this could be a crazy industry, crazy business to be in, cutthroat. What's your experience so far? You've been here how long? 2 years, 3 years?
Like 2.5.
Coming up on 2.5. Yeah, I feel like anything, this is the world. So even people are imperfect, like we are, even as Christians. So even in a Christian industry, it's still imperfect. We were just talking about that on the way up. Just as we think of some band things and strategize, if you're just planning based off of certain people or things like that, it's just. It might work for some people, but I don't think it's the right way to go about things. We just got to be faithful to what the Lord puts in front of us and say, how do you want us to go about it? Because it's so easy, and I think me more than you, but we're definitely guilty of saying like, hey, what would this A&R think of this song? What would radio think of this song?
Yeah.
And I mean, we want to keep in mind like our listeners or like, the people that, could be support partners in what we do, but not to like compromise, I guess, how we do it. And so I feel like constantly something that we're trying to remind ourselves of is don't get pulled into the easiest path to success, even if it might look good, but like, what is the right one that God wants you on? Because it might be different for everybody.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and I think, gosh, I really want to encourage you guys just to keep it grassroots, man. Don't. I just have heard so many bad stories about managers and agents and labels, and all of a sudden you have start to have success, and then what that really means is the labels having success. And from people who have written a lot of songs that you're familiar with, the world's familiar with, and it's like it doesn't seem right. But I'm a huge fan, man, for life. I really want to encourage you guys. Like I said, we had the opportunity to see One Common live. It was a Ben Fuller concert last year. They performed, and I mean, they opened the show, and I had heard them, right? And it's different live. Live, I was in the back. I was all nervous because it was a fundraiser. It was a benefit concert for S2L. So I had all these little, like, a checkbox of all this stuff to do, and all of a sudden they went out, and I was just backstage, and I just started like jamming. I was like, okay. So it was like an incredible live show. And then we were also, we had the honor of seeing you guys lead worship for a youth conference from a church that came here from Alabama, and they were going to Winter Jam, and so they brought their youth, middle school and high school, and they led worship, man. I would highly encourage you, go check them out on Instagram, One Common Music. They put a lot of content out. I think they have some stuff that's coming up that they're going to be putting out.
Yeah.
And we actually have a little treat.
Okay.
I heard we have a little treat. But before that, let me give my story. So sanctifying secular songs, I was like, oh, that's catchy. That's cool. At the youth conference, when they were about to start leading, Los mentioned something. Hey, you maybe have, I didn't know there. I mean, I'm not a huge social media guy. I didn't know what I know now. So Los just goes, and I'm sitting in the back because you and I were talking about different things, and it was, we were in the back. And he goes, hey, we're One Common. You maybe have heard us on social media. We sanctifying secular songs. And I mean, I watched like all of the high schoolers, and they were like, oh my gosh. And they got all giddy, and it was like, oh, we're in the midst of stars. And so it was pretty cool. Man. So go follow these guys. Their heart is pure.
Yes.
Give us a little sample. I heard there's a song that is about to be put out that no one has ever heard, and you're getting exclusive right here on Life After Addiction. Tell us about that.
That's right. So we decided to do this thing for upcoming projects, kind of going back a little deeper into worship songs and hymns and stuff like that, and take hymns and do what they call interpolation. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. And basically taking it as a part of the song and then creating a song from it. And we have a mixture of just also revamping some hymns, but we felt like that would be a cool project to do. It's kind of at the heart of what we do and our audience as well. So we're going to show you guys a song. It's called Give Me Jesus. I know y'all probably know this song. It's a little different. We added our own lines to it, but we just want to keep the premise of Give me Jesus. So the chorus, it just basically says, like, I don't want to chase the world and lose what matters. And so it's like, no matter what situation you're in, and I think this applies to like anyone dealing with addiction or any sin, which is everybody, is a constant choice to say, Jesus, I want you every day, no matter what temptation comes my way. Didn't mean for that to rhyme.
Hey,
but
hey,
there we go.
Hey. Okay.
But yeah.
And this song is coming out.
I'll say 2 months to be safe.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And maybe something special. So go follow them. All right, let's hear it. Let's hit it.
Here we go.
In the morning, when I rise, I wanna wake up thinking of you every time.
Sounds
In
clean.
the morning, when I rise, give me Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, I don't wanna chase the world and lose what really matters. My wildest dreams cannot compare to what I'm really after. So when I wake up, when I rise, I press on to the prize.
Yeah.
And when I am alone,
like that.
Things I know.
Heck yeah. That's incredible. Man, that's a
Appreciate it.
that's a different sound for you guys that I've noticed.
Yeah, we did take a little different spin on it. And I will say
I
gave
like
y'all the
it
whole
a
thing 'cause
lot.
I was like, I'm not gonna hit stop here, but I appreciate it. I think one thing that we've seen God use in us, and we're just trying to lean more into that, is just our harmonies together as siblings.
That's
and
what we
so
just
we're
said.
like some of the simplicity of it that's maybe outside of the traditional pop vein we normally use.
It's beautiful, man.
We're just like, let's just kind of let that shine.
Yes.
And let God use that. So.
And I mean, that's what I said. I was like, harmonize. I don't even know if I said the right word, but that's what I meant. The harmony of that. That was smooth. Like the word that hit me, I took my earphones off. I have to remember, but I think I said clean or smooth or something. That's a cool sound for you guys, man.
Thank
Y'all
you.
should lean into that. Not that anything else, but
No, yeah.
that, not that saying anything. I love everything, but that was like, it felt like that's what you're supposed to be doing. That's a weird. I'm not speaking that into your lives, but that was clean, man.
We
That
felt
was
that same way, I think, in the studio when we were doing it, because we always trying to like maybe reach for these ideas we have in our heads, and we were like, let's just keep it simple. And I mean,
was
just give
cool.
me Jesus, and it's just let that shine.
Yeah.
And then I'll have to show you offline Amazing Grace, which we've done. It's a similar like acoustic vibe, which is yeah, I think we've enjoyed leaning into. And this is the first time we've played it for anybody other than our dad. So I think it feels special to us. It's cool to like let other people in on it and hear it. So
y'all are so incredibly talented. Like it really is ridiculous. I'm sure it's uncomfortable for you guys when people tell you that, because y'all are just so genuine and wholesome. But like we've talked about this on other podcasts in front of you. Like if I had any superpower in the world, it would literally be to sing. Like I consider that a superpower.
Really?
But man, it really is amazing
you
and
wouldn't
incredible.
Want to fly or...
No, I would literally want to sing.
Okay.
But it's incredible. I mean, I've seen y'all, like we said, at the benefit concert. We've seen y'all at the Rocket City event. We've seen y'all lead worship night at Catapult when we did the big worship night.
Yep.
Like, y'all's voices really are incredible, man. And the heart you have for the Lord, it comes through these airwaves. Like, the people are going to be able to experience, like, just how genuine and wholesome your love for Christ is just by simply being who you created to be. Just y'all's personalities alone. That gravitates and draws people towards the Lord. And then to have music to back that glorifies God, man, it's such a beautiful and powerful thing, the way in which God is using you guys. And to just, man, want to give all the glory, honor, and praise to the Lord, and maybe an industry that kind of does the opposite and it's all about me. More power to you, because like you said, it does get hard sometimes, man. We're writing in it, man. We want this to go big and we want it to go on the radio, but we also don't want to compromise what God is doing in our lives and what he has called us to use the platform for. So it's really cool to see that, man. Like, y'all are incredible, dude. Y'all are incredible.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I have something I want to close with, but final thoughts from you guys. Really appreciate your time being here. We asked them to be here, not the other way around. Obviously, man, we're fans. But anything you want to tell our audience?
Well, we're fans of y'all too. We're grateful to be here. Seriously, I know our hearts align for the Lord in many ways. But at the end of the day, one thing that's important to us, we just always want to share for people, is no matter what you do it for the glory of God. Yeah. He'll bless that, and that doesn't always look like a blessing that you might think, but it blesses your life. One day you're going to see the Father, and he'll say, well done, good and faithful servant. And that's the biggest blessing we can ask for. We didn't ask for followers, we didn't ask for likes or audience or things like that, although all that's great in a music career. But we just want to, at the end of the day, hear those words for him. And so I would encourage anybody listening, whatever you do it for him.
Where can the audience find you at
One Common Music, which everywhere. On socials at One Common Music, and then Apple Music, Spotify, all the music places, just One Common.
Yep.
Are we going to get a YouTube channel popping? I know you have one, but are we going to get a YouTube channel popping?
We do. We've been a little slow on our YouTube channel, but yes, we're going to get it. We're going to get it going.
So I just want to close with this. Go follow them. The men that you're seeing right now on camera are the same off camera. We've had a chance to work with Los and his dad, and I've worked with Michael some as well. Their work ethic, they're genuine. They love the Lord and what they're saying. Our goal and the biggest reward is to hear, "Well done, good and faithful servant." That's real. That's not just church talk. That really is genuine coming from them. Go support them, follow them, guys. I appreciate it, man. This is awesome. Thank you for sharing that song, man.
Appreciate it.
What is it going to be called?
I think we're gonna give it like a name from what we wrote so people know it's original. Probably parentheses, give me Jesus. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. We're still working on
Yeah,
that.
and maybe it'll come out with like an EP or something. So be watching that. Go check out their previous stuff. It's really good. Thank you guys. Anything else?
I think that's it. Go check them out. One Common Music. Go follow them everywhere. Listen to their music. Download it.
And that's Life After Addiction. You better believe it.
Come on.
Let's go.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Life After Addiction. Life After Addiction is a production of S2L Studio. For more Christ-centered addiction recovery resources, please visit s2l.net. That's S2L.net. For more information about S2L's licensed and accredited residential program, please visit s2lrecovery.org. That's S2L recovery.org.